Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and we are here tonight to remember on the eve of ANZAC Day, Australian New Zealand Army Corps, to remember what it was like for those that thought they were going on an adventure, yet their mothers never received their bodies home. Little saying similar to, "Who here can row?" says the sergeant on the naval vessel on the eve of the landing of the Gallipoli Peninsula. We weren't alone. We had the New Zealanders, we had the Brits, we had the Canadians. Guys and gals, this is the time to remember. The day for Australia, the world changed forever. The baptism by fire. But it can be all summed up in that. Who here can row? Who was from Coolangatta? Who was from a surf lifesaving club? The captains of our schools, because some of them were in fact students. Who was the captain of the football team from your town? The cricket team, not the netball team, but every other sports team that males got involved in. As a travelling roadshow came around and said, "Don't miss out the great adventures here of a lifetime. Don't miss out." Father and son enlisted. They went to Egypt. They did their initial employment training, and then they got on the boats and they headed for Turkey. Against people they'd never met, not realising that we'd be bonded in the bosom of Turkey and them to us for more than 100 years. Now, we lost 103,000 people plus in our history of warfare, and you're probably thinking they've already lost that many at the moment in Ukraine. But every single life was important. They had mothers, they had sisters, they had brothers, they had friends, they had hopes of what was going to be a future, and they didn't have hate at their hearts. So let's get to it tonight. Tonight we ponder the silence before the storm, the eve of the baptism of fire, the moments where the great adventure transformed into a plague of mortal wounds, met with the invisible torment we now know as PTSD, as shell shock, as the black dog. Tonight we remember that things were so normal in the silence before that storm. It's just something to plant a seed, a conversation, somewhere for you to comment below. And remember that tomorrow, the expectation of what we want from our society should be, because there is a moral obligation to contribute towards that country, not to sit on your hands and say, "Not my job," or "War is wrong." We all know that, fucking duh. Or even to go for the other side. Communism, socialism, awesome, everything except what has given me the safety that I live in now, the spoiled child syndrome. So tonight is the 24th of April, which also marks Kapiong Day, where in 1951, in the fight against communism, the 3rd Battalion of the Royal Australian Regiment, with all the usual coalition forces there to assist us from Canada, from the USA, from Britain, etc., where they fought off until the 27th. Okay, a horde of 20,000 plus, Chinese and North Koreans that were there fighting for communism and to prevent South Korea, at least, or the entire nation, from being a capitalist society and having hope for their children greater than, what comes with capitalism, socialism, etc. I'm not going to get into the politics of it. But tonight, remember the Kapiong, 1951, the battle against communism still plagues the clueless intellects in our institutions of learning today. And they even pay for this. Go figure. And never let them get away with it. Tell them to be respectful. Tell them to do their research, but they won't do it. They're clouded by ignorance. But we lost 35 men over that period. Yep. And more than 1,000 Chinese/North Koreans died for that purpose as well. The candles that are behind me are there to represent those that fell, not just of Australians, not just of New Zealanders, but all of those that fell after the war that was meant to end all wars had concluded. Tonight is not about a script. It's about a message to remind you that you are part of one of the greatest nations on earth, where your safety, you can ignorantly sleep in tomorrow. You don't have to do anything. The only thing you can do on ANZAC Day that is wrong is to work, because that's the one thing the ANZACs wouldn't want you to do. They want you to take your time. They want you to go and surf. They want you to get up late. They don't expect you to get up for the dawn service, but if you do it, awesome. Say a prayer for them. Remember, the best of us that ever walked amongst us now walk with the gods, whichever one is real or correct. But they walked out there for the great adventure. They didn't go to hurt. They didn't go to kill. They went to serve. And a lot of them didn't come back. A lot of them weren't delivered back to their mothers. Telegrams were. Yeah. The 24th is a big day. Not only did we have Old Faithful, 3RAR fighting for their lives, waking up to bugles and bayonet assaults in Korea under the United Nations flag, but also I remember Caballo, because that also occurred for nearly 5 days, the massacre in Caballo, Central Africa, Rwanda. And I asked myself, tonight I remember Caballo and how the actions of evil men can be overshadowed by the inactions of good men. I'll leave that with you, and what do you think about that? When good men have to look in the eye of evil men and do nothing because of rules of engagement that are handed down by those that, one, don't walk the ground, don't get blood on their hands, and don't ring you later to say, how you going, son? Who are the real bad ones? If you want me to bleed, come and bleed with me. Right. My mates at the moment are all at Port Macquarie. They're having a reunion right now. All the best to them. I haven't got a hat on, but I'll give a little officer salute for them despite the fact I was a senior NCO, not an officer. But they go there together, and that is therapy in a bottle. Beside the beach, what else would you want? To be surrounded by your best friends that have walked the soil with you, that know what you're talking about, but you don't necessarily have to talk about it. That all happened on the 24th of April too, and leading up to ANZAC Day. I believe ANZAC Day, which is my birthday, by the way, which is still tomorrow, getting older. They shall grow not old. I do. I believe we were burning our clothes to get the hazardous chemicals off that, and treating ourselves for the infectious diseases that would have been on and around those people that we were carrying and burying. So the day before ANZAC Day is a massive day. The day after ANZAC Day is a monstrously large day. Why? Because we shattered the entire picture of what we thought was going to happen to Australians. They were sent off on adventures. Sons and fathers travelled together. Mothers packed lunches for them as they went. But several days after Gallipoli, the telegrams would have been delivered by priests. The papers would have read or written about the horrors that their sons are now fixed in. The fuse had been lit for World War I, and it was going to continue on for years to come, but also echo for more than 100 years, which has brought us to now. The eve before the baptism of fire is remembered at dawn services and marches around the world, including France, including England, Belgium, New Zealand, Australia, France, Germany. I believe they do something in Germany. Anyway, this brings me to, if we were going to fight in any fight around the world right now, and you had a choice and a chance to be able to say the only people that get to go are a special group of people that volunteer internally within the Australian Army, New Zealand, Canada, USA, Britain, India, Germany, France, all of these countries, if they would come together and say, who would the soldiers be willing to go and fight for? Who is in the world that doesn't have a voice, where it'd be worth coming back on your shield? Now, who wants to be part of that fight, and what country would that be? That'd be very interesting. I bet you could find one where the voice in the night that's screaming for help would be worth answering, even if you never came back to the soil you walk now. Would parents be allowed to go and fight? Or would we be only sending single men that have now precluded themselves from having a hope and a future and a continuation of their family tree and family name. Who would go? Who would be exempt from going? Because it affects the future of our country as well when the greatest voices are silenced by their own courage. Good line. Sounds like a t-shirt. Okay, where would we go? Let us know in comments as you subscribe to this channel. And here we are, before we go. Whether it is Rwanda, whether it is Capio, Old Faithful, whether it is ANZAC, whether you were the foe at one stage and have immigrated to Australia or a first world country now. What I'd like to finish off with is the ode, so that we remember to remember. And it sounds like this. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. And at the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Lest we forget, guys and gals, remember the obligation to your country. If it's going to give you freedom, if it's going to give you some semblance of a voice, if it's going to give you protection, sustenance, food, and care, then you owe it something. What is that? Employment, serving the nation, being a nurse, being a teacher, being a soldier, being a policeman, being a fireman, being a good human being, being a parent, the best parent, keeping out of trouble, then do that. There's no obligation on you to do anything tomorrow, but just remember to remember those that now walk between and amongst the gods. Guys and gals, that's it. Say a thank you to those that you know are serving right now. Selfishly, selflessly, wearing the uniform with their family name, representing it, shining a light on it, so that you one day may not have to face the wolves that wait and walk amongst us. Because I believe the next war is going to be domestic. Guys and gals, to all those serving around the nation, to those that have ever served in the past, and for those that have ever supported one, tomorrow is upon us, lest we forget. And I'd like to finish by asking, who here amongst you can row? Because someone has to do it. See you later. Love and respect. It's Kaz. Matty Morris, Zero Limits. Old Faithful. Enjoy your Capion Day, son.